When a data breach exposes passwords, you reset them. When it exposes biometric data, facial geometry, fingerprints, iris patterns, there is no reset. That single distinction changes the entire governance architecture, and most boards have not yet made it. The regulatory actions against organizations processing biometric data without a lawful basis across the UK, France, Italy, and beyond establish something boards cannot treat as sector specific precedent. Collecting or retaining biometric data without explicit consent and a defensible lawful basis is not a compliance gap. It is a fundamental rights violation with material financial consequence and structural reputational damage that no remediation program reverses. Three governance positions board must establish directly. First, irreversibility must change how boards categorize biometric risk. Standard data breach response frameworks, notification, remediation, and credit monitoring were designed for recoverable data. Biometric data is not recoverable. If your incident response architecture does not explicitly distinguish biometric exposure from a conventional data breach, it is not adequate for the liability it is meant to contain. Second, the lawful basis determination for biometric processing is a board-level fiduciary decision, not a legal team delegation. GDPR and equivalent frameworks impose conditions on biometric data that carry consequences at a level requiring explicit board ownership. Approving biometric deployment through a data protection policy sign-off process is not sufficient governance, and regulators examining the decision chain will reach that conclusion before your board does. Third, third-party biometric processing requires its own governance category within vendor risk frameworks. Contractual indemnity does not transfer regulatory liability. If a vendor or partner processes biometric data on your behalf, the regulatory obligations and reputational exposure remain with your organization. Boards approving those arrangements should understand precisely what they retain, regardless of what the contract says. Biometric data is not personal data with a higher risk rating. It is a permanently different liability category. And the governance architecture must reflect that distinction from the point of collection, not from the point of incident. The question for boards is specific. Does your organization have a distinct governance position on biometric data processing, covering lawful basis, irreversibility, and third-party exposure that sits separately from your broader data privacy network and framework?